That's Meg's. And today we're going to explore design space. We're going to take a look at the 7 different areas of design space and how you can use them. So let's get started. So here we are in design space. I've actually created a new project and it comes up with a blank canvas. That's exactly where we want to be. Now let me show you some of the basic layout design space parts. When you first open the application, it should look similar to this. For today, we will not explore the offered projects as we will be creating our own. You will start by clicking on the New Project button if you haven't already done so, so you end up in a place like this. From here, we're going to maximize your application because when Cricut Design Space first starts up as an application, it is a smaller portion, but we want to use the full screen. So just definitely maximize it so you can work with a larger surface. Now there are 7 general areas of this particular screen we will be using in this class. Some of them are easier to see, some are not. The first one we want to look at is the zoom. If you can follow my mouse here, down in the corner, if I just hover over it, you will see that there is a zoom button. Now if I click on the plus sign, it's going to go up by 100%. If I click again, 300, 400. So you can really get into the details of what you're doing. For now, we're going to stay at 100%. All I have to do is click on the minus sign. So that is the zoom part. That is part 1. Part 2 are called the insertables. That's the left-hand side of your screen. Now you'll see on the left-hand side there are lots of things you can insert into a project. There are templates. And these are templates you can use to design your own. There are projects. These are other people's projects that you can use as and adjust for your own. There are images that are available for free. There are some that are paid. And of course, there is text. And when you use the text, which we will be using a little later, you can choose a font and its size. There are shapes that you can add. And this is all part of the insertables. I'll just click on here for 1 second, and these are the shapes that you can add, but you can also adjust these. And then last but not least, there's the upload button, and I'll just click that just so you can see. These are some of the things that I have uploaded, but for now, I'm just going back to the canvas at the top. So we start with a blank slate. So that's 2. Number 3 is the toolbar. These are settings for your project such as cut, score, size, and align. Now, since we don't have anything here, we can't actually see anything. So let me just type a letter in. I'll just put the big N. And when I have the N selected, you'll see that I can have it cut. I can have it draw. I can have it score. I can actually set it up to engrave, and this is just because I have a maker. Some of these will not be available from the Air 2. Now the other things that can happen here is I'm going to change this back to draw. I can change the color, and in this case it is a black square. I can change it, say, to red so that I can have it print in red or cut in red. If I change it to cut, this will turn into a solid. So I can change the color here as well. So that's the color. We don't have a fill involved, but if we did have a fill, we could also have print. So we could decide that we want to print this and then cut it. We can deselect it, we can edit it from cut and copy and paste. We can flip it around, we can size it, we can rotate it, we can position it. And of course, because it's a letter, we have fonts and styles, font sizes, letter space, line spacing, alignment, curve, and advanced. Now, we're not going to be using all of these, but we will use a few. Now, that is the toolbar. Now, we also have the ability to go over to the group duplicate and delete section, and that's up here, and this is the layers panel below it. Now I don't have 2 objects, but if I decided I want to duplicate, so I have 2 ends and I highlighted over both, I would then see the group button appear here. So I can group it, decide to make it a group. It'll join together here under the word group. Since it's grouped, I can also ungroup it. And I've already shown you I can pick one thing and duplicate it, or I can come over here and delete it. So now we just have the one end. Now that is the fourth part. Now there is the layers panel here on the right. Let me just duplicate our object a couple of times and you can see everything appears in the layers panel. So I have 4 ends here. If you notice with the N, if I click on the eyeball, that N will disappear from view. And I clicked on that one, it would disappear from view. I can select 2 of them through here by clicking on one and shift click on the next one, so I include 2 of them and I can group it from there. So this is the layers panel. It also tells you what's going to happen with each piece of your project. Really important to know. Now the next part is the slice, weld, attach, and flatten. And there is a contour button here. So you can do various things with these tools. So I could take these 2 pieces and I could decide that I want to weld them together. I'll just show you an example. Now, this is one piece. If you look up in the layers panel, you see it is one piece. Now I could click on the next one. Let's move it over here. Let's do a quick duplicate. Now I could take both of these together and I could decide that I want to slice them. Now look what happens in the layers panel. I have a piece here, and if I just turn that off, and if I decided to want to turn that piece off, as you can see, I end up with a couple of ends that have pieces cut out of them. So that is slice. I'm just going to delete these because we don't need them. And this one, and then I can click delete. So now we have our welded piece and we have our separate end. Now the other important part to look at, if I group 2 things together and this is exactly the way I want them to go, I need to attach them. So once I click on attach, these will be placed in the same, it's like a group, but only a little bit better because when I go over to the mat, it's going to be absolutely perfect. Now the last part here is the canvas we're going to be working on. I'm just going to delete these 2 pieces. This is called the canvas. We have the ruler across the top and a ruler down the side, and I have these little grid lines. Now I'm going to increase my zoom so we can take a closer look. These are 1-inch squares and they're divided up into the smaller grid lines. This is so you are able to line things up and make sure things are lined up perfectly. Now if I come back and I add my text, I put my N back in. I can take this N and decide that I want to line it up perfectly up into the corner here, so it's at the 1-inch by 1-inch mark. And I can double check here. If you notice that my position is not perfect, I can click on the 1 by the 1. So instead of eyeballing, I know that that is perfectly at the 1 by 1, or it should have been. Let me just click on the 1, hit the tab away. So this is perfectly aligned in the grid. So this is a way that you can do that. So we are now familiar with certain areas of the screen. Well, that's it for Design Space. Please take time to subscribe and click on the little bell to my YouTube channel so you can be notified of any new videos that we make. Happy crafting!